for the record, before we start, can you just state your name, please?
Am I under oath, Teddy?
It's just a standard practice. Let's
My name is Santa Claus.
Hey.
I go by Kris Kringle, Père Noël, Saint Nick.
Can we get you anything? Milk and cookies, or
I'm just gonna hold off, and once I've done my work, like I always do, at the end of a job well done, I'll have my milk and cookies. It's always a treat after I do a good job to have a cookie.
We'll start with that. Milk and cookies. Everyone leaves out milk and cookies for Santa. How did that rumor start?
It's a tradition as old as blacksmithing. Mrs. Claus she'd give me a warm cookie and a glass of milk after a hard day tending the reindeer in the stables and pounding those skis for the sleigh. And, word got around that Santa runs on carbs and dairy. And there you have it, Teddy.
What do you think is a record for most cookies you've eaten in one night?
Joey Chestnut wouldn't hold a candle to Santa when it comes to binge eating. I'll tell you that much.
So are you not concerned about the repercussions your eating habits might have on your own health?
When you go around the entire equator of this beautiful planet we live on, this spinning sphere, this celestial globe, you gotta stay energized, Teddy. You gotta eat. I'm trusting all those parents out there to use the finest ingredients in their cookies. I trust them. You gotta trust people, Teddy. Do you trust me?
I trust
you.
We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I think you're certainly a great role model for healthy body image. But at the same time, are you not worried at all that you might be portraying to children that it's okay to eat as much junk food as you want all the time?
All those good boys and girls out there. I'm glad you brought that up. Kiddos, you see Santa once a year. You write him a letter, and I get your letters. And I want to let you know that I know you believe, kiddos. And if you believe in yourself, it's going to work out. You don't need to work out every day. Have a cookie. Do you want a cookie?
I'm okay, thanks. I'm trying to watch my figure, actually. I
think you look great. I would put you on my lap right now with no fear of any sort of stress to my legs. You're a perfect shape, Teddy.
A perfect shape, thank you. What happens if I don't leave out milk and cookies for you, for someone as allegedly as selfless as yourself? Why do you ask for something in return from every house that you leave presents for?
Can I tell you something honestly?
I would appreciate if you did.
Oatmeal raisin is my favorite. It is. Sometimes folks will put out some ginger snaps. Not my favorite. Sometimes people will use too much baking powder or not enough sugar. Maybe the flour is a touch rancid, or sometimes there's no cookies at all. If they believe in their hearts and they've written the letter, and if they're on my nice list, or even if they're just a little naughty, I'm going to deliver those gifts just like they wished.
So, on that note, Santa, you famously separate all the children of the world into just two lists. You judge all of them on naughty or nice.
Not just the children, Teddy.
Well, then everybody.
Everybody.
Then my question for you is, how can someone who breaks into billions of homes in one night every year be the judge of what is naughty and what is nice?
You see, it's a verbal contract. I don't believe that I break into homes. Kids all across the world, they write their letters. They tell me what they'd like for Christmas. And they're good little boys and girls, or big boys and big girls.
Well, I don't know that my body type needs to factor into this.
Oh, Teddy.
That's not what I asked you, but thank you for that.
Anyway, I'm in I float in like a snowflake, quiet as a church mouse, and I leave my gifts under a beautiful tree, just like this one. If anyone feels like I've entered, I'm truly sorry. I thought we had a unspoken agreement.
Now, do you not think it's a cop-out to say, I'm sorry you feel that way?
What I hear you saying is you want me to say I'm sorry to you. And I am, Ted. I'm sorry.
It's not sorry. It's not a matter of sorry or not sorry. I'm just trying to get the facts.
Yeah, you're speaking on behalf of all the people that have hurt feelings in the whole world. That's a lot of responsibility for you.
It is. And, Santa Pulitzer Prizes don't win themselves.
No.
So that's why we're doing this. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate it. And I think if we can roll on here, what I would really like to know is what you have to say about the very well-documented culture of bullying amongst your reindeer, specifically towards Rudolph. Mm-hmm.
Used to laugh and call them names. They never let poor Rudolph join in other reindeer games.
And where was Santa when this was happening?
Rudolph's light shines so bright. Like so many of us, sometimes we're a little shocking. People are blinded to the light that we bring. And when they're uncomfortable, the other reindeer, they did lash out at Rudolph. And I believe we have a culture of teamwork and excellence.
And Santa, what I gather from the whole Rudolph situation is that you did turn a blind eye to the bullying that was happening until one foggy Christmas Eve.
Yes, I did come to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then all the reindeer loved him, and they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, just like you and your Pulitzer Prize. You're going to go down in history, Teddy.
Yes, and still what I'm hearing, Santa, is you allowed Rudolph to be bullied, but then when you needed something from him, all of a sudden, he was your number one reindeer. He was the go-to guy. But where were you before all of that? Why did you not step in sooner?
Reindeer are wild animals.
Thank you for your honesty.
They are wild animals, and sometimes even people have a hard time doing the right thing. Our instincts get the best of us. Those North Pole nights are awfully cold and awfully long, and those reindeer, they find their ways to bide the time. It's 364 days of training and then one ultra marathon, if you will. And they're elite athletes. The Iditarod doesn't hold a candle to what these reindeer do, and Rudolph went through it. He sure did. Donner, Blitzen, Dasher. They were the worst. Now they smell Rudolph's farts. He's the lead reindeer up there. So I'd like to think Rudolph got the last laugh. Have you ever been bullied? I know I have.
I have. That is, I think that someone in the position of Santa Claus, a universally beloved figure, would maybe stand up more against bullying rather than have someone write a song about it where Santa in the end somehow becomes the hero for letting a bullied Rudolph get him out of a jam.
Imagine how Grandma felt getting run over.
Well, that leads me to my next question. Obviously, there's a boy and his grandfather who did not believe in you. So you thought the best solution for this boy and his grandfather to believe would be to run over this boy's grandmother.
Her name was Cheryl. We were in North Dakota. If I could go back in time. There's a lot of workplace accidents that happen. Not every workplace accident has a song written about it, but it should.
Would you like a moment?
I've cried a lot of tears over Cheryl, and I know somewhere that boy is grown up and he's got a boy now, and that little one doesn't have a great grandma, and the show must go on.
And do you think for that boy, for Cheryl's grandson, do you think documenting that in a song for him to have to listen to every single Christmas, is that the best way to deal with, well, vehicular homicide?
It was manslaughter. It was the charge that they came down with. And I showed up to my trial, and the judge was fair, strict and fair. And we just need to do our part to show up our civic duty and just trust that those laws will get changed. And we're inspecting that sleigh all the time. And my reindeer, they feel bad too. They're living, breathing creatures. Have you ever done jury duty?
No.
Those are the real heroes.
So I have to ask, out of everywhere in the whole world, why the North Pole?
I'm a little homesick now that you mention it. We're here at beautiful, the Miracle at Bose tonight, and Mrs. Claus is home keeping the stove warm and feeding the reindeer, and the elves are cobbling and getting everything prepared for me, and I'm a little homesick now. My heart pines for the North Pole. It's rugged country. Oh, this earth. What a lovely earth we have. Why not the North Pole?
Well, it hardly seems like a hospitable environment for your wife, Mrs. Claus, for the elves, for the reindeer. Sure, that's a harsh climate that you're subjecting everybody else to for what I can only perceive as selfish reasons.
Oh, Mrs. Claus is tougher than I am. She is out there splitting wood. She's got a maul and a sledge. She sharpens those things. You know, Mrs. Claus would say if she had an hour to split a cord of wood, she'd spend 45 minutes sharpening that axe. What? Oh. I miss her.
And I would like to revisit Mrs. Claus in a little bit, but sticking with the North Pole and the elves and your workshop, how do you get around labor laws, having them work so many tireless hours in your workshop this time of year, really for you to go around, deliver the presents and take all the credit? And especially now, this is speculation, so maybe you can clarify this for me, but a lot of those elves do seem to be children.
Ooh. They appear that way. They do. They're little. They're little. They are of age. We deliver gifts to Geneva in Switzerland, the home of the United Nations. And I go down that chimney of the Secretary General, and Kofi Annan's children wrote me letters, and it's a delicate balance. It's can you imagine being up there in the jet streams and navigating the satellites? Years ago, we didn't have satellites.
No, I cannot imagine that.
It's a risky job, and the elves, they understand that we all are a team. It takes a village, and sure, they don't get to be there to eat the cookies and drink the milk, but I tell you, they don't have a shortage of sweets. gumdrops and plums and figs. Figs as far as the eye can see. We've got a storehouse of figs. Oh, how they love figs.
Mm-hmm. That's not really remotely what I asked you, but thank you for that.
I believe it is. You're wondering about their health and safety and working conditions, and I want you to trust me as the leader of the organization that they're well cared for, and they work hard because they want to work hard. Oompa Loompas don't work half as hard as my elves. I tell you that.
Santa, what is with the chimney thing? Now, you can obviously clarify this or not, but many expert psychologists believe that you entering a home through a chimney actually relates back to a lack of a loving relationship with your mother. And you, by popping out of the chimney in every home, in your own mind, you are reliving your birth, which you really feel was the last loving moment, close moment you had with your mother. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah. It's all true. Every word. I'm not a psychologist, Teddy. I'm just a man with a sleigh and a gift to share. My gift is to inspire hope all across this world. I'd like to think my mom would be proud. I know she is. And Papa Kringle.
On that note, Santa Claus, Kris Kringle, Father Christmas, Père Noël, Saint Nick. It's a lot of different names for one person, a lot of aliases, if you will. What are you trying to hide? Why go by so many different names?
There's so many storytellers out there, Teddy. Songwriters. It's a long, long winter in the North Pole, and we write songs and we sing. We sing our Christmas songs loud for all to hear. Sometimes you got to rhyme in a song. When you're writing a jingle, it rhymes with Kringle. My puppy's got some paws. It rhymes with Claus.
That is a very logical and seemingly well-rehearsed answer, Santa.
I know them all by heart. By heart.
So Santa, St. Nicholas, if I may, if you're such a saint, why are you going around publicly kissing other people's mothers
I was
in
created
front of
by
their
Coca-Cola.
children? I would still...
You can't beat the real thing.
No, I would agree with you, Santa. But again...
Always Coca-Cola.
But Santa, there's, again, in a song, you kiss someone else's mother underneath the mistletoe in the children's song. That does not seem like saint-like behavior to me.
I'm no saint. The name was bestowed upon me. The role was bestowed upon me. Somewhere in the US of A, God bless America, that Coca-Cola factory churned out those bottles. And that little polar bear holding that bottle with its feet, me standing there on the iceberg for the portrait. It gets cold. You got to think warm thoughts. And sure, she came up to me and she planted a good one on my lip. I told Mrs. Claus about it.
And that was my next question, is how does Mrs. Claus feel about this incident? And again, having to hear about it every single Christmas, sung by very many different various artists, and some very good and some instances where we say, oh, I wish they left that song alone. But nonetheless, Mrs. Claus has to hear about that every Christmas.
Would you believe she doesn't like Christmas music?
I would.
She likes Celtic folk songs. She likes dancing. Oh, how she dances. So I play a fiddle at home for Mrs. Claus, and we've had some rocky times. The Kiss, There's many other things we've been through over the course of our marriage, getting to know one another. She's not perfect either, and she can be the first to admit it. I love her. I do. What a woman. She forgave me for it. It wasn't my fault.
Do you think you deserved forgiveness?
I think everybody deserves forgiveness. Sooner or later.
Now, I would like to dig a little deeper into Mrs. Claus.
Hold your tongue there.
For a man with so many different names.
Son, I'll ask you to tread lightly right now.
Yes, I can ask the question, Santa, and you can decide if you'd like to answer or not. But
yeah,
I think
don't like where it's headed already.
Well, I'm going to ask it anyways.
Please do.
You agreed to this interview, and I told you it was not going to be all milk and cookies. Yes. Oh, yeah. Anyways, for a man with as many names as yourself, we only hear your wife referred to as Mrs. Claus. That, as far as the rest of the world knows, she does not have a first name. Is that because you're afraid of her stealing the spotlight away from you at Christmas time?
Yeah, it is. She could do this probably twice as good as I could. She's out there with the axe and the reindeer right now. I think that one day, old Santa won't be able to climb inside that sleigh quite as quick as he used to be able to, and she'll be there. She'll be there to get it done.
And speaking, I guess, when we talk about outside help, Santa, it is very understandable that you're a very busy man this time of year, and it does make sense that you send out millions of your, I guess we'll call them associates from around the world to do appearances in your name at malls, Christmas parties, and so on. I will say it's a very savvy business practice of real time saver for a man in as high demand as yourself. But does it not bother you that you're sending these imposters out,
I like Pepsi.
Lying to billions of children,
Pepsi.
Pretending to be you?
I prefer Pepsi.
Yes, but Santa, you're deflecting again. The children that believe they're meeting you at the mall, when in fact you are back at the North Pole, and again, very busy.
In my heart, I think it's all about believing in yourself and believing in something bigger than yourself. I think you got to believe, and these kids believe, and it's not a perfect system. It's not. Coca-Cola has changed the recipe over the years, and so have we. We're adapting, bobbing and weaving.
I assume, does Coca-Cola pay you royalties for every time you mention them? I can't help but notice you refer to them a lot in this interview.
They made me. They did. It was a brilliant campaign. Snowball effect. We've got so much momentum now. The whole thing's out of hand. Wouldn't you agree, Teddy?
So Santa, going back to the naughty and nice list, it is really, I guess, as far as anyone can remember, you give naughty children a lump of coal in their stockings every Christmas. Are you not worried about the environmental impacts of doing that? Of giving coal to children? We'll move on.
Brap, brap, brap. Are you married?
I don't see why that's relevant.
We've talked about my wife a fair bit. I thought I'd extend the invitation if you wanted to share about your...
Yes, that's actually not how this works.
I'm sorry. Since we got no place to go.
It is a little bit of a one-way street, Santa, but now I'd like to delve into a little bit of your personal life because...
You haven't already?
A little bit more.
Ooh.
Yes, but again, thank you.
On y va.
You're in the limelight. I would go as far to say you're arguably one of the most famous people in the world. Like many other celebrities, you've been rumored to have been dating Pete Davidson. I think we got it.
Oh dear.